Okay, thinking out loud about KPIs. So, I have finished my 100 video series on YouTube recently, and yeah, I am going to, well, I'll talk more about this on Twitter, I'll talk more about etc. But one of the first things that I thought of, well, not the first things, I think I thought of, I don't know if the first or if not the first, I think I thought of was about what I want to change for the next one, right? So yeah, so I already made this video where I talk about kind of my favorite videos, what parts of them made them my favorite, what I like the most, how I could have made them quicker, the ones that I made, and why didn't I do them quicker, and how I want to make my next 100 videos, right? But yeah, and I did mention this comment quality as a success metric, right? So I was thinking about it, and I wanted to evaluate my 100 video series for KPIs, right? I wanted to overview my KPI, by the way, in case you don't know what it means key performance indicator or something like that, right? So something that you look at to know if the video has performed well, right? So on YouTube in general, like the common what KPIs are the ones that exist right now or that are used right now, right? So they are like views, subscribers, I guess, or like subscribers that subscribe from your video, click-through rate, right? So the impressions that it gets versus the people that click on it, retention, the amount of time people watch through the video, these things. And I thought, I can't, if I click on the statistics of my videos, I can barely see them, right? So let's try that. Yeah, one thing, this is what I mean by try that. I click on this thing that I had and it doesn't fucking work. If I click on my video, click here channel, click on view my channel or something like this. No, I click on YouTube Studio, for example. It's slow as fuck, first of all, right? So this is already something that bothers me. This shit doesn't work. I click on YouTube Studio and I can't fucking see it. This bothers me a lot. I can upload videos and all that shit, but then I can't look at the statistics. Here, for example, if I click statistics, you see, the page doesn't even load. So it's like I am tired of this. And what the fuck? Yeah, and instead of fixing it, it's like I will eventually do it, but on my 100 video series. But it's not like I care a lot, right? It's not like it's going to be like some mega insightful shit. Or if a video has 14 views, right? With a video with 14 views, it's like you cannot like the signal for measuring things. Like there is no signal, or there is barely any signal. I mentioned while seeing my favorite videos, like here in the popular video section, the popular list, I do like they are sorted by views, and you can see that there are some videos that get significantly more views than others. But then when you get at the 80 views versus 14 views, right? It's like there is not enough signal for me to process whether the jump from 14 to 40 to 80 means something compared to like a video with 800,000 views and 1.6 million, right? It's like the 1.6 million views video in similar channels, one has like twice the comments as the other. In my case, a video with 80 views can have one comment, a video with 8 views can have one comment, and the video with 8 views has a one comment that is much better, right? So it's like, it doesn't make sense to use the same metrics that people use. Plus, I cannot see click-through rate on my videos. I will eventually figure it out, but since my thumbnails are shit anyways, right? It's like, I could get interested by the ones that I made. If I made this video, like this thumbnail, versus this one, right? I could measure click-through rate and see whether this video was impressed to like 80 people and 11 clicked and 11 clicked versus this one that maybe was impressed to like 120 and 20 clicked, right? So this video has like twice the click-through rate as this one. So this video has a better thumbnail. But since it got 11 views and the other got 26, it's like it doesn't make sense to view the numbers in that sense, right? It's not, I'm not at a stage where these kind of numbers matter. So I want to find out the stats that matter for me. I took too long to get to this part of the video, but this one I should have started with this. But I wanted to give like the context in case someone stumbles upon this or whatever, or to know my perspective on it, right? So my KPIs were for like, it's like they are like more self-oriented than other-oriented, right? When you talk about views, it's like you depend on other people to click on your videos to count views, right? It's like you're selling your performance to others, right? It's not selling, but like you're making your performance dependent on others. So I wanted to get away from this kind of frame, right? And it's like it makes sense to analyze performance in that sense, like how did my video perform? So those are KPIs that make sense in that sense, right? But I am like reappropriating the KPIs to myself, right? It's like, so how can I perform better, right? So the things that I started with are like inspired words per day, right? So it's like, I don't want to count words that are uninspired, right? I know that there are some people, I like this quote, but I also half like it and half don't like it. This quote of like, I only write when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, it strikes at 9 every morning, right? I like the vibe between this quote, right? Because I like I only write when inspiration strikes. I like this part. And that's what I mean with inspired words per day, right? I want to maximize a KPI, some key performance indicator that you want to maximize ideally, right? Or maybe minimize, but like key efficiency indicator would be something that, I don't know. There are probably one that you want me to minimize, right? In my case, it's like I want to think in maximizing terms, right? So it's like if I can maximize the amount of inspired words that I do, it's like I have to find two parts, right? One, what's inspiring, like what gets me into a inspired state, and the other one is like words per day, right? So I have to write more when I am inspired, right? So when I am inspired, I have to take advantage of that and notice it and be like, I have to write. Then, minutes put into a video. I think this is an important performance indicator, but not a key one, because, for example, there are some videos like this one, 1 hour and 5 minutes, that to me, it's key, right? It's not key, but like it's important that I put hours into this video, right? It's important that I spent an hour in my head talking about this, right? But the problem is that the video is not very good and people are not going to see it, right? So I do want my videos to be seen, I guess, by people, and especially by random people who can like give feedback, right? Instead of like to someone for whom this is something new, right? And I want to get to this to some people like that, right? Or to get to the same people, but who like to get to my same friends, but who actually watch it, right? And that's easier if the video is shorter. So I thought of it something of like concentration, right? Of like when you have a solution, you can have like concentrated solutions. For example, a salt in water solution, like like sodium chloride solution inside water. You can have a highly concentrated solution with a lot of salt, but versus the amount of water, or you can have like a really diluted solution of like really small amount of salt for water, right? So this video is super diluted, right? This video is like 1 hour, and well, actually it's not that diluted. For example, this this almost 5 hour stream of me playing The Sims, this shit was fucking diluted, right? This shit is diluted as hell. This video is actually not that diluted, but it could be way less diluted. For example, this podcast is 1 hour and 50 minutes long, but it's probably half as diluted as this, right? So it's probably double as concentrated as this. Since we are two people, it's like there are still downtime moments and it's still a conversation, right? But in my opinion, it's a pretty condensed video. And I think that's like the beauty of podcasts and why podcasts like get so much audience, because they are actually pretty concentrated, right? It's like they are in this sweet spot of concentration and dilution. Then there's shit like a MrBeast video, right? A MrBeast video, it's probably like the most concentrated shit you can ever find. It's like, the ratio of length, 20 minutes, versus the minutes put into a MrBeast video is fucking insane, right? It's like there are hours of production, there are like hours of recording, hours of footage from like a lot of different angles, a lot of different cameras. The cameras themselves are like probably iPhones or like shit like that, right? I doubt they have a lot of people like this. There are probably like Sony Alphas and shit, but it's not like a TV camera crew, a professional TV camera crew always, right? It's probably they intentionally keep it like that to make it YouTube aesthetic. But they have a lot of backup, they have a lot of angles, all of this shit, like 100, like the 100 Squid Game shit, that video, it's not 100, it's like they actually had like 400 people or something. Like the Squid Games in real life, that video is fucking insane, right? The amount of production under that is insane. And it's like that, it's a 20-minute video. So yeah, I respect MrBeast because of that, because he's able to make like these highly concentrated videos. And I want to get my concentration up. I think that's like a good standard to aspire to, right? So I still want to put out this raw video, but I would ideally, and I will make this, I will make a keep KPIs. I will make this video about KPIs, the metrics I'm looking for in 2024, right? I will make a video like that is a more concentrated version of this one, right? And that one will also have the concentration that you put in when editing, right? Editing is a concentration heightener because you are putting like a lot of hours into a short amount of minutes, right? It's difficult to edit without putting hours into it, right? It's actually difficult. You cannot edit something in 5 quick minutes because you are watching over and over the same footage, right? Then, is it the same as information density? This is where I wanted to think out loud about this video, right? About the KPIs, because I don't know if concentration is the same as information density, right? I think not. For example, and that's the problem with MrBeast's videos, right? MrBeast videos are high concentration, super high concentration, but the informational density is probably 0, right? Now, let's not be that unfair. It's entertainment, right? So there probably is a way to clarify, conceive of entertainment in this same category as information, right? There is probably a sense in which it is informative, right? For example, this is an entertainment book. I guess it's a novel. I haven't read it yet. But for example, this Roberto Bolaño's book is kind of entertainment. It's a novel, right? But I think that there is information in it, right? Like it's a book about a writer. So if you're like in that writing mindset or whatever, or like thinking about writers or something like this, like there is information that you can sense, right? It's like information about his life, about how he sees writing, about how he sees academia. Like there is information encoded into this, even though it's entertainment, right? So in MrBeast videos, there is information encoded into them as well, right? But the density of information is lower than, for example, a fucking lecture from Stanford PhD, whatever, right? Or, for example, a podcast, right? A podcast, Alex Friedman podcast. I know people clown on him, but like the density of information in Alex Friedman podcast, I don't know, it's like pretty fucking decent, right? Same with Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan is like this entertainer dude, and like you don't take what he says seriously as well. But he does have like guests in it that are like pretty knowledgeable about their shit, right? So if they say like just a couple of things, it's like, even though it's not a fucking lecture, it is like in the entertainment realm, it's probably like one of the highest things you can aspire to in terms of information, right? Then a YouTube tutorial is probably like quite information dense, right? A DaVinci Resolve tutorial on how to edit this video and how to apply video tracking, or like a Blender tutorial on how to use video tracking in a 3D model environment. It's like, that shit is probably pretty fire in terms of informational density, right? But maybe if it's just a tutorial, the person who made the video didn't put a lot of ratio of length of video versus minutes put into it, right? For maybe if it's a 1 hour tutorial, maybe it's like he cropped a couple of things, did it, so it's maybe a 2-to-1 ratio of concentration to length. Of length to the video versus minutes put into video, right? So he watched the video, cut a couple of things, so in the end he spent like a 1 hour editing, 1 hour recording for a 1 hour video, or like for a 45-minute video, like almost 2-to-1 ratio. But the information density, because of the teacher's knowledge, right? Because the person knows a lot about Blender, is very high. And I don't want my videos, because my videos are not super entertaining, because I'm not like this mega entertaining person, right? Maybe my friends tolerate it, or my brother maybe watches this. But if I gotta find some kind of equilibrium between these things, right? I gotta find some kind of equilibrium between information and density, right? I have to give some kind of informational density. I have to give some kind of like insight of some kind. And aside from just merely concentrating shit, right? Because if I concentrate like Mr. Beast, but I don't have, right? But it is not as entertaining, right? It's like I'm losing time, right? I'm just wasting time on shit. And I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my own time, right? I want the key performance indicator to be good, right? Okay, then the next KPI I thought of was, this is like in another level, right? This is something that I cannot currently do, but that if I get bigger, like when I get bigger, because eventually I will probably get bigger on YouTube, it's like there is like a point when you cross that, I will cross that, that it's like my personal attention will not be enough to, I will not, there comes a point where you cannot read all your comments, right? There is a point like that. I will probably take a lot of time before I get there, but there will come a point like that. And there will come a point when that is something, like when that is the expected. First, you get to that point, and you get once, but then you go back to regularity, right? Back to reality, back to normality. That will happen probably soon. I guess that will happen probably in 2024. But I don't think that will get me to regularly there. But this is from when I get regularly there. And when I get regularly there, I would like to implement some kind of sentiment analysis made by humans. Fuck that noise. Fuck AI. Fuck ChatGPT. Fuck neural language programming. Sorry guys, I love you, but fuck that shit. I want realize on my YouTube comments. Like this, I will implement the real shit, right? Human type shit, and it will be like sorting comments into a manual 2x2 matrix. Do they get it? Do they not get it? Is it positive and is it negative, right? There are people who get it, and say positive shit. That's dope. There are people who get it and say negative shit, right? And that's actually fucking important. Then there are people who don't get it, who do it positive, right? So some people, this is a kind of comment that kind of bothers me, and that I would like to train my audience to not do this in the future when I have to do it. But it is something saying shit like first, right? Or like, I click like before watching this guy's video, right? So for example, Vicesat, many people are like, le doy like a tus vídeos antes de verlos porque sé que van a ser brutales, you know? And that, so like, I click like before watching the video because I know it's going to be amazing. That's the kind of comment I don't want, right? They don't get it, and it's positive, right? And I don't like that. So I would like my sentiment analysis people to be like, yeah, you have gotten this amount of comments, these are the examples, you have gotten this amount of comments, these are the examples, and then negative, and they don't get it. It's like either haters who are just there because they don't get it, right? They just hate because they haven't watched the video completely, so they don't really get it. Or yeah, there is some signal to that, but yeah, in general, I care less about those, right? If someone doesn't watch it, it's like, I don't care what you say. Like, there is feedback, interesting feedback that could be learned from this, but since they don't get it, it's like, it's not to be taken seriously, right? Or like crypto spambots. I hate channels that have a lot of views, but that you scroll down into the comments and all you see are like comments with 500 likes or something like this from spam bots, right? I know the spam bots are like giving them some likes or some shit like that, but it's like, isn't there anyone like, bro, you're making fucking thousands of dollars every video because you have like 17 crypto affiliate links in the description, bro. It's like, fucking hire a Filipino guy to delete these shit ass comments, right? At least to take care of the bottom quadrant, right? It's like, fucking, he can do it, right? It's like, you can pay someone some amount of money to like get rid of that shit and to make your community at least not vomitive, right? There is probably a way around this. Yeah, so this. And yeah, I think this is mostly what I wanted to say, like, regarding KPIs. I think I have to think more. Like, I want to make a video, as I said here, of like, these are the metrics I'm looking at in 2024, right? I was going to write like, I don't know, I have to think about titles as well, but like, these are the KPI. And I don't want to be like, to look out for. I want to be like, I am looking for. Like, I want to make it clear in the title that they are the ones that I care about, right? Even though it's worse, I still don't want to like, I don't know. I don't want to play into that. You should care about this, right? I tried it once in a video, but yeah, I called it why you should rate. So maybe I will copy that video and make it like the KPIs you should care about. And then in the video, I'm like, okay, these are the ones I care about. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But that's already in the video. I don't know. I will consider that. But yeah, these are the ones I care about, right? Inspired words per day, right? So because at the core of the videos, it's the script. So I had to be inspired, right? I was inspired when I wrote this. I was thinking like walking. And yeah, that's one thing why I like walking, because I get inspired to do these things, right? So yeah. And yeah. That's basically the KPIs I want to think about. And if you want to check this video out, the videos on my 100 video series, the ones I have already finished, check it out.